Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, then you guys know that I had got all dressed up for work, made up, pinned my hair up, and was prepared to spend a long 8 hours in the office. And then my supervisor called me on my way there and let me know that the sewage was blocked and backed up in the building, and that they sent everybody home because there was no access to the restroom. You couldn't use any water, which was right up my alley because I didn't feel like going any damn way. So, yeah, we home, y'all, but we are still at work, and I actually have to go to a training in a few minutes. So I was like, let me try to get this done before. Ain't much to talk about, but it's the last week, you guys. It's the last week of the month, and you guys already know. You already know, right? All right, we ain't skipping. It's just gonna be one video today, you guys. Let's talk about, first up, the rest in peace that we have to send up for Mariah Carey's mother and sister, who tragically apparently died on the same day. Yesterday, Mariah Carey put out a statement that said that my heart is broken that I've lost my mother this past weekend. Sadly, in a tragic turn of events, my sister lost her life on the same day. I feel blessed that I was able to spend the last week with my mom before she passed. I appreciate everyone's love and support and respect for my privacy during this impossible time. So I read that and I was like, oh my God, how devastating. Even though we do know that Mariah Carey has had a troubled past, very complicated relationship with her mother and her sister, actually her whole family, her mother, her sister, and her brother. You guys know it's been well documented in, on the internet, their relationship, what they've gone through over the years. Also, if you guys read Mariah Carey's book, her autobiography actually was pretty good. She detailed quite a bit of why the family just could not seem to get it together, and they had so many issues. But there was the base of it all was some jealousy there, and then of course there were addiction issues that were there. But I believe the relationship between her mother and her really got bad once Mariah became who she is, became very famous. We knew her mother being this trained Juilliard opera singer, beautiful voice. She's the one who trained Mariah as she was growing up to sing. That is the reason why Mariah has like the range, so many octaves, because she's been trained vocally by a professional who's done it. But even with all of that, they have had a lot of going back and forth between the two of them. And she really did detail a lot of it in her book. As far as her sister was concerned, yes, like I said, there was some addiction issues that were there. I mean, it was just a lot of things that family was going through as they grew up. Mariah Carey's father was, even though he wasn't in the home, and even though she wasn't really having much contact with her father when she was small. When they got older, she had a relationship with her father that was better. But when she was small, she was still around all of his family though. So which I didn't realize, you guys, but yeah, she was around his family, maybe not him so much. So she was really pretty much raised around a lot of black people. But like I said, a lot of dysfunction, a lot of jealousy, just resentment, some things that her mother did to her when she was going through her like nervous breakdown period and all. Yet and still, they have still found the love for each other, albeit sometimes having to be at a distance. Sometimes you just have to love that person from a distance. They did not say how her mother died or her sister died. But when she said that she was grateful that she was able to spend that last week with her mother, that leads me to believe that maybe her mother had been sick and that she was aware that maybe, you know, it was getting down to that time where it was like, you know, you need to be here because your mom's not going to be around much longer, which is the most difficult thing to hear. You know, if somebody's had to tell you something like that. So I believe that her mother probably was sick. I'm just assuming though, so that's not what has been said so far. As far as her sister is concerned though, that's the one that really puzzles me. It makes me wonder. I'm hoping that her sister did not take her life, because I know that her mother and her sister were still close, and I just would hope that the sister wasn't so upset by what had happened with the mother that, you know, something like that happened again. This is all just me speculating. I probably shouldn't even be speculating on something like this. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how anyone passed. The fact of the matter is they're no longer here. So my heart is broken for Mariah Carey, because, you know, losing your mom is hard enough, but when you lose your mom and your sister and then on the same day, it was just like, what exactly is going on here? You know, so we'll probably hear more about it later, but as of now, you know, we're just going to send the prayers up for Mariah Carey and her family. And I wonder if her brother is still, I know her father passed like at the beginning of the 2000s. I wonder if her brother is still alive. But anyway, you guys, we're just going to pray that Mariah Carey is able to get through this very trying time. You guys, rest in peace to Patricia and Allison. All right, you guys, next story up. So, you know, there's a lot of people that are on tour right now because that seems to be where everybody wants to be these days. I mean, I guess folks are not making that much money on album sales and things like this. I mean, this group has already made their money. TLC has already made their money many times over, even though, you know, depending on who you ask, you know, they still don't have the money that they should have had, you know, with all of the successes that they've had. Anyway, TLC is like many other groups. They're on tour and they're going around and doing like a nostalgia type tour. And, you know, people still are big TLC fans, even with Left Eye not being there. So apparently they had a performance scheduled for August 23rd, and it was going to be at the New York State Fair. A few days before they were going to perform, TBoz started having severe stomach problems, like severe stomach cramping, abdominal cramping. And at first they thought maybe it would have been something like food poisoning, but it was getting worse, wasn't getting better, to the point where they had to get a doctor to look at her. The doctor, I guess on the premises or wherever they were, was able to, you know, look at her and say, no, she needs to go to the hospital because this is maybe something a little bit more serious than food poisoning. And when they went to the hospital, then they diagnosed that she had an extremely large, serious blockage in her abdomen, and that they needed to, you know, they're going to have to tend to it. I believe that they're going to have surgery, you know, and get her back straight. But in the meantime, she cannot be up on stage, okay? And I think everybody is pretty understanding when it comes to TBoz, because we know that Tian has always, I mean, she's had sickle cell anemia as long as we've known who she is. She's had sickle cell her whole life. She's battled it and still performed, still traveled. I mean, for a long time, we didn't even know that she had that. I mean, she eventually did let her fans know, but for many years, people did not know that she was suffering like that. And so now, TBoz is probably somewhere around my age, maybe a year or two younger, but I know she is somewhere at least 50. And I'm hoping that this isn't related to something like that. I just really hope that everything turns out to be okay with TBoz. I'm hoping that this, whatever this blockage is benign. You know, maybe food poisoning would have been the better diagnosis, you know, but I just really hope that she doesn't have to go through a whole lot more, because she's already been through a lot health-wise. But she did put out a statement after they let us know that they were going to cancel that performance. She said, "I'm on the mend. This was just one of those unexpected things that I had no control over. I look forward to making it up to you all. And hopefully I'll get out of the hospital soon as tomorrow if all goes well. Thank you for understanding." So I'm not sure if she's still in the hospital or home or whatever. You know, she's probably home at this point. And they also had to cancel a couple of other appearances. They had one in Syracuse and one in Foxwood. So they did cancel those performances. But she has one coming up. TLC has one coming up on August 31st at Ravinia at Highland Park in Illinois. Okay, and they're also supposed to perform on September 1st at Treasure Island Casino in Minnesota. So right now they haven't canceled those performances. I guess they're trying to see, you know, if she's going to be able to be up and moving and doing, I mean, you know, nobody expects TLC to be doing all the stuff that they used to do, because they were like a dancing group, you know, they used to get their groove on. But, you know, hopefully she will be able to get back out there, because besides the fact that, you know, the fans aren't getting to see them like they want to, I mean, that's still some money out their pocket that I'm sure everybody could, I'm sure, you know, ain't nobody trying to give up on their little bit of change. But the most important part of this whole story is that, you know, TBoz comes out on the other side of this with no real severe health problems to add on top of her sickle cell anemia. You know, it's been a blessing that she's lived as long as she has, because, you know, we've known people who've had sickle cell. It's hard to, it's a difficult disease, and a lot of them don't last. A lot of people do not live to see, you know, the age that Tiana has been able to get to. So that's a blessing in and of itself. We're really going to pray that, you know, everything else goes well, and that she's, like she said, on the mend, and that she can get back on that stage soon. Okay, so Tian, you know, if you're out there and if you happen to be watching, you know, we got our prayers up for you, and we hope that you feel better soon. All right, you guys, I feel like I've been talking about DLow and Jasmine a little bit too much these days. I was like, child, am I going to have to start retiring DLow like the likes of DLow? I think it's not even important enough to be trying to retire, but, you know, here we are. No, this time, actually, it looks like it was just a big misunderstanding. I saw it on social media the other day, and I didn't really pay much attention to it, but apparently their 8-year-old son, Cannon, okay, who DLow conceived with Miss Jasmine Blue, behind the backs of his long-suffering wife, Rashida. Apparently, Cannon got locked out of the apartment that Jasmine lives in, okay, and that the authorities were alerted, and the Children's Services apparently was involved, or they thought that Children's Services was going to get involved. I actually don't think that they were involved, but the police were involved. And, you know, it was just sort of like, is this something else that we add into the love and hip hop, you know, drama that they like to always draw? Don't shit happen until the show on, and all of a sudden everybody's having this problem. But no, I think this might just be a coincidence the way that this works. So apparently Jasmine and DLow, I guess there had been a day when they were actually filming, recording for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Okay, and once they finished their, you know, once they finished whatever they had, whatever taping that they needed to do, everybody went on their way. Jasmine went home, and she was home like normal. Okay, her and her son, they were in the house like normal. She went to sleep. While she was asleep, Jasmine said that her ex called and said that Cannon had left his book bag in her car. And I was like, her? I didn't even know that Jasmine was, I didn't know she was gay, child, or bisexual. She might be fluid, y'all. Y'all did a good job of explaining that fluid thing to me. I have to get my mind out of just male and female gender, I guess, child. So thank you guys for explaining that to me. So apparently Jasmine might be one of those type of people. That sounds so bad. I didn't mean it negatively, you guys. Apparently anyway. So while Jasmine was asleep and the girl had called the son and said, can you come out here and get your book bag? Okay, well, Cannon went out there thinking nothing of it. He's gonna run and go get the bag and go back in the house. However, when he went out the door, they have an automatic. I guess the door pulls closed by itself and it locks. It's a security feature. And usually 98% of the time it works perfectly, except for the times when you walk out the house and you left your keys inside, and then you might have left your phone inside like Cannon did, and can't get in touch with the people inside to let them know that you outside. And then of course he's 8 years old, so he doesn't have this loud voice. He don't have this big banging, he's not probably going to do all of that. And 8 years old, probably didn't really know what to do. So that's what happened. He came out the door closed behind him, it locked behind him, and he went out there to get the book bag and then came back and could not get in the house. Okay, she's knocked out sleep inside. I don't know how heavy she sleeps, but like I said, if he didn't really just create a big ruckus and scene out there, she wouldn't have heard. Depending on where her bedroom sits in the apartment, all that shit does happen, you guys. It's unfortunate though, because he ends up somehow, maybe one of the neighbors saw him or a doorman or something like that, and they ended up alerting the authorities. So the police came down there, and then they couldn't get inside, or they didn't attempt to go inside of the place, even though the young man had been letting them know that his mom was inside. No one seemed to believe him. So they ended up calling DLow. So DLow came down there and talked to the police and all that. And then after a bit of back and forth and confusion and all of that, they finally was able to get in touch with Jasmine. She came, opened the door, let the boy in, and that was it. Okay, at least that is the way that Jasmine has explained the whole thing to us. I mean, it does sound like a very plausible story. I mean, it does sound believable. And yeah, I mean, things like that do happen. It's just that when you put in the mix that it's DLow and Jasmine and all the shit that they've been through, it just kind of makes you just side eye it like, it's always something. But that's not really a reflection on her mothering skills or anything. I mean, that just happened to be a strange kind of occurrence. She said that it never happened before, it will never happen again. Because sometimes it's just a matter of having a conversation with your child and just letting you know, like, when things like that happen, you need to, like, wake me up and tell me. Okay, so at least she could have been aware that he was outside. But no harm, no foul, y'all. Everybody good. Ain't nobody took the baby away. I don't think that DLow and Rashida want the boy anyway, okay? And not unless, well, as far as DLow is concerned, not unless Jasmine gonna come with him, because honey, it looked like Jasmine and DLow still got something going on there. But I listen, if Rashida want to be there with all that. Did you guys see that video of Rashida's mom sitting on DLow's lap and trying to feel if she felt anything? And Rashida was just over there laughing. I was like, now, I ain't thinking that DLow and Rashida mama trying to do anything like that. I'm sure it was all shits and giggles and everything, but that is just weird. Okay, that's just straight up strange, especially us knowing that Rashida's mama don't even really fuck with him like that. But now you mean to tell me you up here sitting on his lap to feel, ooh, I can't even imagine my mom doing something like that. Okay. Absolutely not. I mean, just, Anyway, that's neither here nor there. You guys will be all very happy to hear that, Cannon is good. Jasmine is good. DLow is good. All right, you guys, next story up. So you guys will be happy to hear that Wendy Williams was spotted out and about in Newark, New Jersey recently. I'm not sure what day it was, but apparently her and her son Kelvin Jr. Is it Kelvin or Kevin, y'all? I think it's Kelvin, but anyway, they call him Kevin. They were spotted after her not being seen for over a year. In the public. She was spotted at a holistic wellness center, actually a wellness store in Newark, New Jersey. The name of the place is called Belingo Balance. And yeah, she was there shopping for herself. They're saying that she looked really good. I did see a picture of her. She took a picture with the owner of the store, and she did look good in that picture. Okay, not kind of wild and distant in the face or anything, just looked like she was present. She looked like herself. and not what we saw in the very, very troublesome documentary that they put out of her. I don't know where she is. I mean, she's in Newark, New Jersey, so that leads me to believe that she's not back down in Florida with her family. But you know, just seeing that picture of her and the fact that they were in a wellness store, that makes me hopeful for her. Okay, so even though it was infringing on her privacy, the employee there said that, you know, she was just there to find out about some herbal supplements, about circulation, and different things, that she had made plans with them to come back and, you know, maybe talk to somebody more about, you know, what the different things there, what they do for her, how they can benefit her. So that's good news, you guys. That's good news. I mean, it was just a sighting, so we still don't know what's going on with Wendy, but I prefer maybe to not know what's going on with Wendy. Maybe no news is good news at this point, because that documentary, I don't know, that was not that was not what we needed to see. Okay, that definitely was not what we needed to see, but it was eye-opening that this woman was going through a whole lot more than we even understood. Okay, so maybe after that, you know, everybody realized that, you know, we need to do what's best for Wendy, which is get her out of the public eye and try to get her back on the good foot. So it looks like that's what they're trying to do, and it looks like it might be helping. I love the fact that she was with her son, you know, and not all of them strange handlers that she had, that it was just sort of like, who are these people and where's her family? Okay, we know that she loves her son, she loves being around her son and all, so hopefully that is something that is going to keep her grounded and keep her here with us and not back into the throes of addiction, because that alcohol and them drugs, or the alcohol and the vaping, was out of control. But yeah, did you guys see the picture of her? I was just like, look at old Wendy. I hadn't realized it's been a year, but you know, that time went by so quickly. We were seeing too much of Wendy. So this actually was good that she's been gone and been tending to herself. I really hope that she is getting better, because that story is just still so tragic to me. They did end up selling that apartment, and they sold that apartment for way less than it was worth. And that was just the icing. Like, God, this is terrible that this woman is going through this, you guys. But anyway, that's good news. That's good news to know that Wendy is doing better. At least she looks like she is. Next story. All right, you guys, next story up. I had to take a little break because, remember, I told you I was going to be in training, and child, it is such a mess. That's all I'm going to say, is it is a mess. Anyway, next story up, you guys. They say that your girl they're saying that your girl Nicki Minaj has unfollowed JT and Ice Spice. I don't know who these people are that pay attention to who folks is following and not following, but some people, that is their full-time job, just to see who might be looking in on the other person. That's why I don't follow no damn body. Shit, I'm just gonna go check their page when it comes across my mind, and then that's it. But I try to keep my follows really low, so I don't know. But it's interesting that people pay such close attention to something like that. Anyway, yeah, they saying that Nicki has unfollowed those two young ladies, and I was just like, Lord, Nicki. Child. Now, apparently, Ice Spice, she had a friend who had leaked some text messages where Ice Spice and this friend were having a conversation about Nicki Minaj, and Ice Spice was saying that she was ungrateful and delusional. Okay, I guess she was talking about Nicki Minaj. I don't know why the friend would have released those text messages. However, those text messages found its way into the internet universe. And of course, Nicki Minaj saw that, I'm sure. So, apparently, she might have followed she might have unfollowed Ice Spice after that. Ice Spice said that she just said that out of frustration, and that she didn't really mean anything by it. So in this last interview, what was that interview I was telling you guys about Ice Spice? Was it in Rolling Stones? Anyway, she said that, yeah, her and Nicki Minaj, you know, they not besties or nothing, but, you know, they good. They good. I was like, now, have you asked Nicki that? Because, honey, Nicki don't look like the type. She definitely strikes me as the type that once you cross her one time, she is done with your ass, at least when it comes to women. She don't really have much patience for the girls, okay? I don't think anybody would ever call Nicki a girl's girl, all right? So, but yeah, if you putting out that kind of stuff and then it makes its way to the internet and I will see it and you were talking about me, I probably wouldn't be really, I don't know if I would describe our relationship as good, but anyway, that's what's happening with Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj. As far as JT, no one knew that her and JT were having problems. You know, we knew that JT and her had some beef in the past because JT had, from when she was a city girl, a long time ago, had tweeted some things that was kind of negative about Nicki Minaj and all that. But we thought that they had a conversation and they had got past it. And don't they have remixes and shit together? You know, so not really sure what happened, but I thought that they were all good, you know, and that Nicki Minaj, you know, maybe was seeing some things in JT that she used to see in herself. You know, it kind of seemed like she was taking her in as a mentor, but now they're saying that she's unfollowed her. They say that Nicki Minaj was caught in a conversation with station heads saying that it's weird that a person goes from hating you to loving you. Okay. And she said it was odd. So even though she didn't say anybody's name, and even though, you know, as far as we knew, her and JT were okay, a lot of people were thinking that she was talking about JT, okay, because JT apparently didn't like her, and then all of a sudden she loved her, all right, and maybe Nicki Minaj was feeling that maybe JT was just using her to climb that ladder. I don't know. Listen, I don't know nothing about none of these girls, okay, like I don't know what if any ulterior motive would be at play here. I thought that they had moved past whatever the issues were and they were good too. A lot of times social media also adds to the mess and it adds to the confusion, and you know, we do know that Nicki Minaj does pay attention to social media, so all you need is for the fans to really kind of stroke the fire, and then it just is it stroke or stoke? Stoke the fire, stroke the fire, fan the flames, let's say that. You know, and then it just gets worse, and then it's a misunderstanding and all this. I don't know. All we know is that Nicki Minaj has 2 less people that she is following, those 2 ladies. Of course, folks pay attention very closely. Also, Nicki Minaj is being sued, since we're talking about Nicki. She's being sued by one of the Barbs, actually, a follower of her for many, many years. And Nicki is very familiar with this person. His name is Tamir Peak. He's been one of the active Barbs and has apparently even worked with Nicki Minaj for some time. I don't know, like on the payroll kind of work. I think that he was just a super fan that was, you know, promoting and helping her, you know, from his place, helping out and just trying to make sure he got the, you know, because let him tell it, he says that he even did promo work for her for the Nicki Minaj 2 album. Okay, now I don't know who Mr. Peak is, so I don't know how far his influence reaches, but maybe in the world of the Barbs, you know, maybe he is a big, well-known person. Anyway, you guys, I'm sorry, I was interrupted. Anyway, you guys, Nicki Minaj's manager is saying that Mr. Peak has been a pain in Nicki's pussy for many years now. Okay, I'm just going to just give you guys the layman's version. You know, I'm not paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, the manager said that Mr. Peak has been harassing Nicki for years. He's now graduated to seeking to shake her down financially with manifestly false allegations and legally frivolous claims. He will regret having gone down this disreputable road when he is forced to pay her legal fees as required by California law. So it seems that Nicki Minaj's attorney is quite confident that Mr. Peak is going to lose, and lose big, including paying for her lawyers. Mr. Peak says that he's been humiliated by her calling him mentally unstable, so he's suing. He calls her a full-blown bully, and that he even helped her promote her album Pink Friday too, like I said. But apparently he says that when she was going through, remember when she first started her show on Apple, on the podcast, and remember they were saying that she was like on this huge hate train, and she was just striking out at everybody and saying whatever was on her mind and all of that. He said during that time she went on and accused him of paying someone to sabotage her. He said that one time she invited him to her hotel because she was going to be on live, and I guess he went, and she humiliated him in front of 100,000 of her fans that were watching that live feed. He also said that her husband, they said, battered him. So I'm guessing the husband had to either rough him up or beat him up or something at a Super Bowl event that was back in 2020. So these people have been knowing each other for many years. Okay. Or at least, you know, she knows who he is, and of course he knows who she is. And they go back quite some time. Apparently she even apologized to Mr. Peak through DM on Instagram, you know, that I guess her husband, you know, shit maybe just got a little too touchy. You know, folks just got a little too close. You know, things happened. She's also called him one sandwich short of a picnic, and implied that by him getting a government check that either he was on welfare or that he was like on Social Security disability, that there may be some issues there. So she said these things according to Mr. Peak, and so now he feels that he has to sue her for damages in the amount of $5 million, you guys, because he says that she caused reputational harm, emotional distress, and financial loss. Don't know what Mr. Peak does for a living, but yeah, $5 million, you guys. I guess he's trying to get into the bag. Nicki Minaj has her lawyers on it, and they say that this is frivolous and it is without merit, and they have no intentions of paying anything to this man. As a matter of fact, he's probably gonna have to pay their lawyer fees. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it ain't really Nicki, you know, there's always something going on with sis Nicki. All right, she just the blogs, I don't know if it's the blogs, if it's Nicki, if it's a combination of the two, child. It's just always something. But that's the latest on what is going on with your girl. And then lastly, you guys, just real quick, things I peeped. I did peep that Joy and Trayvon, the football player, Joy Chavis and Trayvon, what's his last name, Davis or something like that? Anyway, they did welcome a bouncing baby girl. Okay, so she has now an older daughter with Bow Wow. She has a middle son with Future, and now she has a youngest baby girl with Trayvon. Not bad for a day's work. I also peeped that Tyrese, Ricky Smiley, D Nice, Raheem Devon, Natasha Leith, I think is her last name. I think this is a typo. And Andrea Kelly. They all received honorary doctorate degrees from, I didn't even put down the school, you guys. It don't matter. I'm about tired of these fucking honorary degrees. Nobody even takes them seriously anymore. There's no esteem there. It's just, you know. And then, of course, we could say a whole lot about Tyrese being honorary doctor of anything, child. Because Tyrese need to see a damn doctor. Pronto. Okay? He out there telling y'all his office hours and everything. Then I also peeped that Blueface Mama said that Tia still be messing with her baby daddy. Now, I don't know if Tia has any other kids, but the only baby daddy that I am familiar with of Tia's would be Rick Ross. I said, girl, but you know what? It does make sense that those two probably still, you know, fool around every now and then. There's something about it, child. It's something about how they come at each other and then they take a break and then they come back. It's just like that kind of stuff that continues to last after your child is that child is grown now, you know, and y'all still going back and forth. It might be some truth to that. I don't know how long that Auntie's podcast is going to last, because did you guys see that Blueface Mama was about to beat Tokyo's ass, or at least that it was going to be a fight that went down? I don't know who might have won on there, because honey, they both look like they got that. They both look like they got that strength. Shit, I don't know, y'all. I would be interested to see that. Maybe Zeus could put that on the damn. No, I wouldn't want to see these grown women doing that, but. Anyway, I just wonder how long that's gonna last, because, honey, what's her name? Carlissa, she was ready to get him up with Tokyo, and Tokyo was being real dismissive and everything, but I don't think Tokyo was afraid at all, you know. And of course, Carlissa is. It's just like it's too much with all of them for the trust. I wonder if they'll ever really be really close and really trust each other, because they've all, they don't really know each other like that. Like, you know, maybe, I don't know. I just wonder if they're gonna last, you guys. And then lastly, last week when I told you guys that Kiki and Darius, you know, that the rumor was out that she was pregnant by him, and you guys were like, no, Roxanne, she is not pregnant by him. You know, they just took a picture together and everybody want to say that. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Okay, I had already said that I didn't know if I believed it or not. However, did you guys peep the video that she posted, or all of the pictures and all of the good time of her 31st birthday that she just had? And she had one particular picture that was with her and Darius and their young son, Leotis. You can't tell me that these two aren't at least trying to work things out. I'm not mad about it. Okay, maybe Darius did the work that he needed to do, and she wants to try to save her relationship with her child's father, okay? But my point is, y'all keep saying, no, that's just co-parenting, and I understand how co-parenting works, okay? Co-parenting means that I'm cool with you. You say you're going to come get the baby, you know, we're going to work out this schedule, you know, whatever financial situation it needs to be on either side, you know, we're going to make sure that we communicate so that we can bring forth this child into the world and turn him out a good human being, okay, for the sake of the child. But co-parenting don't usually mean inviting your baby daddy to your birthday party with all your friends and your loved ones and everything. You know, these people mean something to you, but then you invite this man who's supposed to just be your baby daddy and you had all that drama with, you know, why would you invite him just in the vein of co-parenting? This is not just co-parenting. These two are obviously trying to work it out, and they are also trying to introduce it back to you guys, you know, in small little bits and pieces, baby steps. But if you don't think that those two aren't working it out, then something is wrong with you. I'm just hoping that the girl keeps her relationship off of the internet, you know. You can post an occasional picture of you and y'all out or something, but all that in-depth, letting people know on your whole relationship only to turn around and be back together. Now people are saying, oh, she's with her abuser. So you know what? That's all I got to say about that, y'all. Let me get on up off of here. Y'all let me know what you think about everything on the video today. All right, you guys, that's it. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time,